All right, Al, let's dive in. Sandlot to the show. We're going to break down.
Yeah.
You're going to do the pitch, and I'm going to
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm going to give these kids one thing. So can we dive in real quick? And this ain't bad. Right out of the gate. Eric, we can make some adjustments here. If I'm like this, how am I going to punch something? This is what we call in the business a high home shot. Trying to break down swings, it's impossible.
All right, I'm going to rip through it. Keep your elbow up. Keep your elbow up. Don't get rotational, but try not to overthrow. Hit your spots and then build up from there. You know what? I like it. There's nothing there. Keep doing it.
This was good.
What do we got?
Real good. We're going to have to do this again. And we are doing it again. It's Sandlot to the show. You guys send in videos of your young players, and our analysts take a quick peek at what they're doing right, what they like, what they don't like. And right now, you're wondering, why do I have a cell phone up? I'm putting this out on Instagram Live, okay?
Okay.
So our social media team, this is their phone. And I apologize because you're about to get very, very sick because I'm putting my hands and breathing all over his phone. So here you go.
This is our favorite thing to do, by the way.
Why is that?
I don't. Well, I have my 9-year-old son, Brooks, who's home sick today, by the way, watching. I know he's watching. But I was able to break him down. This is what I do every weekend.
Yeah.
I kind of try and give. And I think, we were talking about it, I think parents have a tendency to just flood their kids with a ton of information. When I think, when a kid's able to throw strikes, don't really tweak too much. When a young player's able to barrel up a baseball consistently on a weekend, I wouldn't try and do too much. There's enough time throughout the game and enough failure coming in this game to be able to make wholesale changes. I think you say one or two things and you get out.
So this is how it's going to work while I'm putting this on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
Some interesting questions come up. I'll just
kind
of just say, hey, so-and-so wants to know. Dempy, you're going to take a look at the videos that were submitted to you and that were interesting to you, so why don't you jump in?
Yeah, and I like what Mark said, too, about the throwing strikes part. You'll get the parents who go like, what can I do to increase my kid's velocity? I'm like, age. Playing catch. That'll do it. Like, the fact that he's throwing strikes, he or she is throwing strikes, is huge, because that's what you need. Like, how many times do we see the guy throws hard, but he can't throw strikes and it never happens for him? Establishing that early on is super big. So look at some of these kids right here as we're going to break them down and go through here. We got young Dale here. The only thing I could say right here is, I don't care how cold it is, you're never going to pitch in a game with a hooded sweatshirt on. So if we can just get that off. But he's throwing strikes, bottom half of the strike going, get the knee up, get that direction going more towards home plate.
Yes.
See how he's finishing over towards first base? We want him going towards home.
Okay.
So not a bad job there. I know it's cold. He's probably like in Michigan or northern Canada somewhere. I like this kid right here. He's got good mechanics. As we come up here and we're going to run this, let's pause it right at the top, right here. We back that up just a little bit. Look at this. He gets good job with his hands right here. His knees tucked under. He's not going forward. And then as you roll it and starts going, watch the separation of the hands as he's coming down. He breaks, gets up on top. He's got good momentum. He's going forward like this. He's
Can
really
I ask you a question, too, and jump in?
Yeah.
Pause it at foot contact when he brings it down. Bang, there. Did you ever worry about that? I'm being honest, because you've never seen me do a pitching breakdown because I didn't spend the time doing it. But was it something where you're trying to land with almost your toe facing home, or is it a little side straddled?
Well, it was actually something I struggled with personally. Was I landed open. Too open. I actually had scouts in high school.
Bad.
No, that's not bad, because you can eventually, as he gets older and stronger, that will start to come a little bit more. Staying away from this. You want to get like here. I always heard the saying, and Tom House would talk about this, ball of foot to ball of foot. So as you come up, you're on your ball of foot, right? And then as you go down, you want to land on your ball of foot. You don't want to land on your heel. You don't want to land open. Ball of foot to ball of foot.
Here's a good question. Here's a good question from Physics Dave.
Yeah.
What is something that youth coaches say all the time that is actually bad advice?
Keep your elbow up.
Yeah.
From the hitting standpoint, that drives me nuts.
From a pitching standpoint, wow.
There's something that jumps out at you? Maybe a urban legend kind of thing?
Yeah, stay on top of that breaking ball, because they shouldn't be throwing breaking balls because they're 12.
Okay.
That's a bad one.
So less is more.
Yeah, fastballs and changeups. Young kids, I know it's hard. You want to win games, but at the same time, how do we preserve our arms, stay away from breaking balls and, stuff like that. So this kid did a really good job.
Ooh.
I like this kid right here. Look at that.
Oh, okay.
That's old school. That's a
Joey Lucchese?
big leg kick. That's a good comp right there. I like that. But you pause it right there. Go back. Take this back. And I at first watched them and I looked at Cole Hamels, Matt Moore, guys lefties with big leg kicks. But when they were leg kicking, they actually get their knee inside their elbow. He actually gets his knee keeps his elbow inside of his knee, which is kind of very Lucchese-like.
Yeah.
You know, and he drives the ball downhill as you roll this. He gets good direction, you see that? He gets on top, a good finish. He's finishing through, he's not spinning off, he's not coming around the ball. That's a nice clean delivery right there. That's when you're seeing something like that, you're like, oh, that's something that stays healthy. It's clean. We always talk about that when you're throwing, and I watched Al talk about that last week. You don't want to get underneath the ball. Going this way, when you're throwing and you're coming this way and you go over top, right?
Yeah.
A lever like that. The minute you start getting this underneath here, sore here. Stress here. You're adding stress. Another thing you can do, landing on that soft front side, right? So this kid right here, I like this kid right here in the sense, I wish he could get his knee a little higher. It's like he's slide stepping already. We don't need you to slide step. Generate that momentum, get a little bit more finish there. I'm guessing that's Rich. Come on, Richard. Or Dad's Rich, but if you see this, just take this in slow motion, really slow right here. No, you're going too far back. Come on. He went from a righty to a lefty really fast.
That's some transformation there. There we go.
So see how he's not really loading up, he's just kind of just rocking back. Get that up, get that momentum, use that height. He looks like a big tall kid right there. He's got some lankiness to him. Get that arm up a little bit more. He's kind of throwing underneath it just a little bit. If you watch that bat there. If you watch him right here and that elbow, what we want that elbow to do is just stay up. As it's coming through, it's gonna get a little side to side. See that? Stop, take that back just a little bit. See what I'm talking about? See how that right there is gonna swing, this elbow is gonna swing this way. We want that elbow coming up and over that way just to take that stress. So at Richard Alexio, if you're watching this at home, let's get up on top. And we got one more right here. We're gonna roll this past this and in this next one. But just work on getting that elbow up on top and a little bit more load and generating that. But if you look at that, we're really going back far here. Let's get through. Look at this right here.
There we go.
This kid right here, I like this. He gets a good, hard delivery.
Ooh, okay.
You know, gets downhill plane. He stays on top of the ball really well. Could use a little bit more momentum going towards home. But if you look at it.
Oh, little Trevor Bauer.
I don't know if it was the high socks, the Cleveland Indian look from behind right there, the way he held his hands. But he has a little bit of Trevor Bauer in him right there. Kind of driving. Finishing towards first base a little bit. But when you're a young guy and you're throwing, right, this is super important. Try your hardest to focus on sending all your momentum towards home plate. Going towards home plate.
Kevin asked, what's the number one focus for young kids on the mound mechanic-wise? Is that it?
Yeah, because
all your momentum should be directed towards home plate.
It's hard at 12 years old or 10 years old or 14 years old to have the strength in your body to be able to take your momentum and not generate it all to like when you're older and you're our age, you know, you're in your 30s, you're in your mid-20s, you can adjust through that. You can make up for that for your strength that you have as a man.
Yeah.
But when you're a young boy, you're taking a lot of that momentum that should be going towards home plate and going this way. Boom. Instead, you're taking it and you're going this way. You're getting your arms going sideways. You're not getting up on top where you're supposed to be. You're not finishing where you're supposed to be. You're losing things like location and you're losing momentum. And eventually, over time, you could risk arm injury. But, you know, some good mechanics in there.
Yeah.
Some kids who need a little bit of work. But we're breaking it down right there and seeing what they can do.
All right, take us through the hitting.
All right, let's get into some offense.
There we go.
Where the bread is buttered. All right, let's dive in real quick. Who we got first? Oops! Timeout.
Okay.
Swag game's on point.
There you go,
Got the
little man.
flash pajamas on. He's got the tips already frosted. He's ready to roll. Mitchell Marlins looking like Juan Pierre right there. Franklin BG's. One thing, if I was to make one, I'd like to see a smile. There's going to be a lot of 0 for 4 days coming your way. You're going to need to smile in this game.
It's got
it
the
ain't
dual
but it's a
glove.
nice stroke. I would like the father to back up a little bit so I could get the full range. If you're going to send it in.
Are you critiquing the photographer?
Dial this in right here. This is
Oh.
the bringer of rain. This is nice.
Wow.
Two things I'll say, if we can back this up real quick. Two things I'll say. One, Al Leiter talked about this. Look at your head, Mr. Rodriguez 21. Look at your head and look at Josh Donaldson's head. Whenever you do anything, I don't care where your body is. I don't want to be like this. I want to see you like this. I want to see perfect. So I can have all this stuff happening around. I could do leg kicks, whatever. This has got to be locked. The minute I go here, my bat path goes from here to here. All right? Another thing. Watch setting the tee too far out in front. Okay? I would like to see you back this tee up. There's very few balls you're going to catch so far out in front here. I'd like you to back it up a little bit more, because if you see, you almost get to the point where you're reaching. This is awesome. The load's awesome. Weight on the inside of the back knee. I love the hands. Run it. This is like Josh Donaldson.
He's a little guy, too.
But
maybe
don't
like
float
6'7".
that front arm so much. You should be making contact with a little bit more. Instead of making contact like this, you should be point of contact where this top hand is getting ready to do some serious damage, like bring her a rain. Hey, I'm into that. You got a chance right here. Uh-oh! We got Dustin Pedroia, #1. You don't take BP in khakis. That's the #1 thing.
I don't know if they're khakis. They're
Balance point for me with Harmon, but I like this. Make sure, I mean, we're really splitting hairs here. You don't want, I said this last time, you don't want to get here where you take your eyes off the pitcher. Everything happens looking at the pitcher, everything. But he gets a little balance point, like you said, Dempy. I like the violence of this swing. Catching barrels. I think Dustin Pedroia's thinking about anything. First time I met this guy, all he talked about was hitting lasers. He didn't care what it looked like. All right, one more. Dads, Club Crudo.
You don't like high home.
I can't do anything with a high home. All right, this is what we refer to as a high home. It's a gorgeous swing. Wish I could have seen it.
I mean,
Keep it moving.
that just seems unnecessarily harsh. Yeah, I mean, don't get me
I'm just
wrong.
keeping it real. That's a great swing, but I can't see it. It's grainy and it's high home.
Hey.
One more. Is Sean Casey separated at birth here?
Oh, wow.
What,
okay.
did he send in a video in sweatpants? Back this up. Because this is Sean Casey right here.
I want very similar. swing.
Very similar. Just make sure you're bringing your front half with you. I don't mind if you want to have minimal hand load. You see Cody Bellinger, there's not a lot going back. I mean, he's stagnant here and he's going forward, but don't let the top half, you want to hit against and create some depth. You don't want to bring the front half too far forward with you. You want to hit behind the baseball. So I would say get a little bit more load. Look at Casey really load up and drive into his backside and kind of explode. You don't want to hit real passive and be like this. But not bad.
Where was he hitting that ball, by the way? Into like Mrs. Jones's
I
backyard?
have no idea. That was old school.
That was good right there.
Not bad.
Good stuff. All right, so if you want to see your video or you want to submit a video and have one of our guys take a look at it and break it down on a future show, this is how you do it. This is how you submit the videos. You post the video of your kid, go to Twitter, it's on Twitter and Instagram, and use the hashtag Sandlot to the show. Now, the important part is tag us at MLB Network, and if your video is good enough, it'll be featured on one of our future programs. Remember, no high home.
No high home, dads.
No
Get
high
on the
home.
side angles the best. I want to see them from the side.
There you go.